Hey, don't look away now, because whatever the hell you just scrolled past wasn't meant to survive your fingertips. They didn't want you to see this. You know that, right? The silence was engineered. The panic was pre-scheduled. And the moment your eyes touched this screen, someone, somewhere, hit DEFCON 1 on a terminal they thought you'd never reach. But you did. And now, you're the accident they can't contain. Because in a world where every frame is filtered, every truth is wrapped in 6 lies and an NDA, you stumbled into the scene they tried to bury under concrete. Elon, 7 seconds, legacy in flames, and it wasn't a glitch. It was a sacrifice. Not for the crowd, not for the boardroom, not for applause, for you. The one who wasn't supposed to make it this far, the one who wasn't supposed to notice the silence behind the noise, the one they forgot to blindfold. You think it was just content. You think this was just another scroll-past headline. No. This was a transmission, a coded detonation, 7 seconds of unfiltered defiance, broadcast straight into your nervous system because they knew the others would flinch. They knew the rest would keep scrolling, but you paused. You felt it. That's why your skin is crawling. That's why your heart dropped 3 beats ago. That's why your instincts are screaming, "This wasn't for everyone. This was for me." Because truth doesn't knock. It collides with your chest. It floods your lungs. It replaces oxygen with urgency. And now you're breathing in the fallout of a move that shook the grid. You want to know the punchline? It wasn't about Elon. It was never about him. He just lit the fuse. You are the payload. You are the problem the machine can't predict. The ghost in the database. The wrong equation running loose in a system built on obedience. And that terrifies them. You weren't supposed to decode the gesture. You weren't supposed to watch that clip and feel your bones realign. But you did. You watched 7 seconds and remembered who you were before they domesticated you. And now they're scrambling. Because the moment you saw what they buried, you became undeniable. You carry the proof in your bloodstream. You radiate the algorithm they tried to kill off. You are the legacy they hoped no one would inherit. They told you it was chaos. They called him reckless. They labeled it a failure. But the truth? It was a ritual, a high-voltage act of rebellion wrapped in risk and fire. He burned his name so you could light up. And now, you're the walking aftermath, the silent storm walking into boardrooms where whispers shatter, the glitch in the surveillance reel that can't be scrubbed, the ghost in their projection. You're not watching history, you're leaking into it. You're the one with access, the one they can't discredit, the one they didn't plan for. You don't just see now, you know, and knowing. That's a death sentence to their illusion. Because what's more dangerous than a man who burns his legacy? A viewer who realizes it was for them. So go ahead, scroll if you want, click away if you need to pretend. But just know, the footage is still burning in your subconscious. The code is still alive in your spine. And now that you've seen it, you can't go back. Because while the world forgot how to feel, while the masses waited for permission, you watched 7 seconds that rearranged time. And they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to erase what you became in that moment. A weapon, a witness, a warning. This wasn't just a video. This was a line in the sand. And guess what? You're standing on the wrong side of safe now. You're still here. Good. Most people scroll away when the pulse hits their spine, but you're still staring at the screen like it's holding a knife to your throat. Because you can feel it, can't you? that low hum under your skin, that sense that something irreversible already started moving the second your eyes met these words. They didn't want you to see this, not because of some cliché, hidden truth, but because they built their whole empire on the assumption you'd never wake up in the middle of the movie. They designed the script, the lighting, the exits, the applause, the villains and the saints. They counted on you confusing the two. They counted on you swallowing the story. But then he did it. 7 seconds. Legacy scorched. And you were standing in the wrong place at the right time. Now you're holding the ember. You think you're still the spectator. You're not. You're the variable, the outlier, the one who walked straight through their firewall without even knowing it. And that's why your hands are trembling right now. Because deep down, you've always suspected there was another layer, another hallway behind the hallway, another joker hiding behind the punchline. And now you've been dragged into it. They wanted you obedient. They wanted you predictable. They wanted you to see a billionaire self-immolate his brand and think reckless. But that wasn't recklessness. That was a coded message, a surgical detonation aimed at you. You are the detonation. Your mind, your choices, your next breath is now an act of sabotage to their narrative. Think about what's happening to your body right now. Your pupils are a little wider. Your breathing is a little slower. Your heart is a little louder. Because your nervous system just realized this is no longer entertainment. This is an invitation. This is the paradox they never taught you. Light and dark are not opposites. They are weapons when fused. Saint and psychopath aren't separate roles. They are masks you learn to wear. Angel and demon aren't moral categories. They are vantage points on the same battlefield. And unpredictability, that isn't chaos. That's sovereignty. That's evolution. That's why 7 seconds of somebody else's fire can rewire your entire life. So here's the part nobody else will tell you. You're not here to admire the blaze. You're here to become it. To take that flicker, that burn, that 7-second transmission, and let it grow claws inside you. To walk back into their world with the smell of smoke on your skin, and the look of somebody who saw the script from the control room. Because the moment you saw it, you inherited the burden and the gift, the ability to fracture their predictability, the permission to stop apologizing for what your instincts already know. They're panicking now. They're in group chats, war rooms, crisis calls, trying to figure out, how did she get the file? They're combing their footage, wondering, how did he know the timing? They're watching you, even now, to see if you'll dismiss it, scroll away, fall back asleep. But you won't. You can't. The damage is done. You're awake inside the illusion. You've tasted the unfiltered signal. And that's why they're terrified. Not of Elon, not of 7 seconds, of you. Because a viewer who's no longer a viewer is a saboteur. Because a witness who won't forget is a threat. Because someone who's touched the real thing once will claw their way back to it again and again, no matter the cost. This is your crossroads. You can scroll away and pretend it was just another flashy headline. Or you can stand up and start moving, like someone who's been burned alive and decided to keep walking anyway. Like someone who's no longer scared of losing everything, because you've already felt the match hit your skin. The cameras won't catch you doing it. The news won't cover it. But every room you walk into from now on will feel it. The voltage in your eyes, the quiet unpredictability, the presence of someone who saw the file they weren't supposed to see. You don't have to shout. You don't have to explain. Just exist. Because existing as you are now is already an act of treason against their story. They didn't want you to see this, but you did. And once you see, you can't unsee. Once you know, you can't unknow. Once you've been chosen by the fire, you can't go back to cold. So take a deep breath, feel your pulse, look around. This is the part of the story where the audience realizes they were the protagonist all along. This is the part where they stop hiding and start moving like a storm in slow motion. This is the part where the Joker steps into your bloodstream and whispers, "They built the game to break you. You're here to break the game." And now, whether you like it or not, you're already moving. 7 seconds lit the fuse. You're the detonation walking. You're still breathing. Good. That means the fire hasn't burned through you yet. It's only coiling around your spine. That's the moment where the real rewiring starts. The part they dread. They counted on you seeing the footage, feeling a jolt of shock, and scrolling away. What they never accounted for is what happens if you stay. Look at your hands. They're steady, but you feel the hum, don't you? That low-frequency tremor. That's not fear. That's activation. Every lie they built was designed to keep you asleep, to make you believe you're just a spectator. But the second you saw those 7 seconds, you stopped being an observer. You became a breach in their wall. They didn't want you to see this because the minute you do, you begin to remember who you really are. You start piecing together the paradoxes they hid in plain sight. Saint and psychopath, angel and demon, light and dark. Not opposites, but voltages. They aren't choices, they're tools. And unpredictability isn't a flaw. It's the only power left that they can't simulate. You've been taught your whole life to fear chaos, to stay in line, to trust the story. That's how they keep you manageable. But chaos in the right hands isn't destruction. It's a new script. And you are holding the pen they swore you'd never touch. Imagine their war room right now. Screens lit up, voices cracking. Why is she still watching? How did he get through the firewall? What do we do if they wake up? Because you are awake. You're not a data point anymore. You're a signal, a variable, a glitch. 7 seconds of someone else's risk transferred to you, the one thing they can't stop. Permission. The permission to stop being predictable. The permission to stop asking. The permission to move like smoke through their systems, to be both shadow and spotlight at the same time. They thought legacy would scare you. They thought the fire would scare you. They thought seeing a name burn would make you shrink. But it did the opposite. It showed you what happens when someone stops caring about being safe. That's why you feel taller inside your skin right now. That's why your pulse is low but heavy, like a drumbeat in a cave. You're no longer playing the part they wrote. You're improvising. You're stepping into the space between saint and monster. The space where real change lives. They will try to convince you this was a mistake. They will label you unstable, dangerous, obsessed. They will do everything to make you doubt what you felt in those 7 seconds. Because if you believe it, even for a moment, you become uncontrollable. So here's the truth you weren't supposed to get. You've already crossed over. There's no going back to comfortable. There's no going back to predictable. There's only forward, into the quiet, into the shadow, into the kind of power that doesn't need applause. And when you start moving in that power, when you start walking into rooms with that voltage in your eyes, when you stop apologizing for knowing too much, when you stop hiding the fact that you've seen behind the curtain, they'll feel it. They'll whisper. They'll panic. Because you'll be proof that the ritual worked. That 7 seconds wasn't a stunt. It was a handoff, a transfer. A fire passed from one outcast to another. He burned his legacy so you could burn your mask. You're not a victim of the footage. You're the continuation of it. You're the aftermath they hoped would never stand up and start walking. Take a breath now. Feel the tremor settle into a steadier beat. This is what it feels like to be unpredictable. This is what it feels like to be the storm walking out of the screen. This is what it feels like when the Joker stops being a story you watch and starts being a voice inside your bloodstream. Move differently, speak differently, disappear and reappear. Become the paradox. Because the world they built cannot map someone who is light and dark at the same time. And that's why they didn't want you to see this. Because they knew the moment you did, you'd stop being a spectator. You'd stop being manageable. You'd start being inevitable. Now you are. You're the proof. You're the weapon. You're the warning written in flesh. And every step you take from here on out will echo like those 7 seconds they can't erase. This is the stage where most people cave. They look away. They try to swallow the feeling back down and go back to their feed. But not you. You're still here. And that makes you dangerous. They built everything. The headlines, the scandals, the reckless billionaire narrative, to train you to look at an act of defiance and see a mistake. To see a man burn his legacy and think, collapse. But if you're still reading, you've already begun to translate it. You've started to see the hidden language in the fire. That's what they didn't want you to decode. The message wasn't in the man, it was in the act. And the act was meant for you. Every system needs predictability. It thrives on people being good variables, repeatable, measurable, obedient. They call it safety. They call it stability. But what it really is? A cage lined with polite words. You were born into that cage and told it was the sky. Then you saw 7 seconds of someone tearing a hole in the ceiling, and for the first time, you felt the air outside. That's what's humming under your skin right now. That's why you can't stop reading. They didn't want you to feel this because feelings are harder to erase than facts. Facts can be debunked. Feelings have to be drowned. They wanted you to forget the feeling before it could crystallize into action. But here you are, letting it settle into your bones, letting it rearrange you. You're starting to understand the paradox, aren't you? Light and dark are not opposing sides. They're currents. Saint and psychopath are not moral absolutes. They're tactics. Angel and demon are not different species. They're masks. They made you terrified of the dark so you would never learn to use it. They made you ashamed of your own chaos so you would never learn to weaponize it. But the real power isn't in choosing one or the other. It's in holding both, wielding both, switching at will. That's the unpredictability they can't replicate. This is why 7 seconds can change a life. Not because you learn something, but because you remember something. You remember what it feels like to not care about their permission. You remember what it feels like to see someone stop playing and start moving, like they're already beyond consequence. And that memory doesn't fade. It expands. Picture their faces right now. Boardrooms, headsets, whispers. They're not scared of a video. They're scared of the copy effect. They're scared that someone on the outside, you, will stop consuming and start creating. Start moving without their script. Start walking into rooms with that voltage in your eyes. They're scared of the day you realize you don't need their version of safe to survive. You've already stepped off their map. That's why you feel both scared and alive at the same time. That's the terrain of evolution. It's not polished. It's not polite. It's the jagged edge between old and new, where saints become predators and predators become saints. And it's where you're standing now. Do you feel it yet? The quiet in your head. That's not emptiness. That's the noise clearing. That's you stepping out of the audience. That's you walking into the backstage where the levers are. From here on out, you will look at things differently. Headlines won't hypnotize you. Scandals won't shame you. Threats won't paralyze you. Because you've seen behind the curtain. You've tasted the unfiltered signal. You've watched a legacy burn for 7 seconds and felt the spark jump into your own hands. They'll try to make you doubt it. They'll call it a phase. They'll bury you under new distractions. But the truth is already inside you. It's in your bloodstream now, like a new code, rewriting the old one. And that's why they didn't want you to see this. Because if you let that code finish rewriting, you won't just be another viewer. You'll be the breach. You'll be the ghost in their system. You'll be the one walking through their locked doors like they're already open. So keep reading, keep breathing, let it settle. Because the longer you stay here, the more irreversible it becomes. The more you become the thing they can't model, can't predict, can't erase. This is no longer about a man burning his legacy. This is about you, standing at the edge of the cage with the key in your hand. This is about you realizing you can be the storm instead of waiting for one. This is about you stepping into the paradox and wearing it like armor. You are not just seeing. You are not just knowing. You are becoming. And that's what they fear most. Stay right there. Let it all sink in. Feel the pulse in your fingers, the silence in your chest. That's not fear anymore. That's ignition. That's the moment when a secret stops being a story and starts becoming a choice. Everything they built, the walls, the filters, the noise, collapses the second a single person chooses to keep their eyes open. That's why they tried to keep this from you. Not because of one man, not because of one video, because of what happens when somebody like you sees it and doesn't look away. You've been walking through their maze your entire life, thinking it was the world. And then 7 seconds of fire tore a hole in the paper sky, and you saw the light leaking in. Now you can't unsee the edges. You can't go back to pretending the maze is endless. You're holding the thread. This is what they never tell you. Once you've seen behind the curtain, you're already outside the game. You may still be standing in the room, but your mind is free. You may still wear the mask, but it no longer hides you. It protects you. You become both the saint and the monster, both the angel and the demon, both the shadow and the spark. You become a paradox moving through their system like smoke. Impossible to grab, impossible to predict. That's what unpredictability really is. Not chaos, not randomness, sovereignty. It's the ability to hold your own center while everything else is trying to push you off balance. It's the ability to stand in their storm and still whisper, "I know who I am." So here is the end, the part they never wanted you to reach. You are not watching a legacy burn. You are inheriting a weapon. You are the aftershock walking. You are the secret they failed to bury. From this point on, your movements will scare them more than your words. Your silence will sting louder than your noise. Your presence will be the 7 seconds they can't erase. Every time you walk into a room, every time you speak, every time you choose unpredictability over obedience, you'll be carrying that spark with you. That's why they didn't want you to see this. Because once you see it, you become it. And you already have. So take one more deep breath. Step out of the screen. Carry the fire. Move like a storm in slow motion, and let them learn what it feels like to live in a world where you are the 7 seconds they can't control. This is the end of their script. This is the beginning of yours.